The Howard Stern Show.
There's very few people where I feel like I implode and I'm not at my best. Every once in a while, you just can't be yourself because you're so in awe of somebody. He's one of those people. I remember Ben Stiller and I, we went and we had dinner with Mick Jagger because early in Ben's career,
now that I'm jealous of.
Oh no, I totally ruined it. We were writing a script about the Rolling Stones called and said, "Hey, will you do a movie? It's a concert movie, but in between there's comedy and a little story." This is when Ben.
That's easy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a terrible idea. And so, but Ben, this was right after the Ben Stiller show was canceled. Mm-hmm. He wasn't really famous yet, and he wanted to do it with Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt wasn't famous either. We're like, hey, we like this Brad Pitt guy from Thelma and Louise.
Right.
So suddenly Ben and I are talking to Mick Jagger all the time about this script.
And Mick Jagger, by the way, only wants to be a movie star and wants to direct movies and stuff like that. Yeah.
And he's super nice. We're doing phone calls with him. I'm recording every phone call.
Right.
And then
do you tell him that? Or
of course not. Of course not.
You're a sneaky guy.
Because I know that there's no way this is going to really work out.
Right.
And on my computer, every time I screwed up, the alert, I made it a sample of Mick Jagger, so if I mess up on my computer, it would go, "That's funny." And then we went and had dinner, and I couldn't talk.
Wow.
For an hour, I didn't say a word. Ben kept looking at me like I was like the
wrong?
freak.
Yeah.
And then finally, I was trying to find a way to relate to him, and I'm like, "Yeah, I go on the road too as a comedian."
When you're on tour with the Stones, I'm on tour myself.
You're playing arenas.
That's a lonely life we both share together.
Yeah, I'm thinking of writing a song about it on the road again. Exactly. I mean, it's crazy, right? I know there are certain people you just can't pull it together.
Yeah.
And I would imagine Mick Jagger. I always have wanted to interview Mick Jagger. I mean, in fact, you need 10 hours at least to make a dent in that life. When you meet with him, do you meet with him privately, or do you go to when you say you go?
We had a dinner.
Do you go to a restaurant?
Yeah, we went to a restaurant, and then we went. We went to England. We had to go. That's how powerful they are. We have to fly to England to have dinner.
Right.
And
he ain't leaving.
But I'm a kid. I've never really even been to England before.
Right.
I'm in my mid-20s, and then we went to Ron Wood's birthday party.
Wow.
We're like, we're going to go to Ron Wood's birthday party.
How cool!
And at the birthday party, there's a house band, and then suddenly Eric Clapton is playing with the house band in this little tiny club, like the Cavern kind of a club. And what was funny is all the rock stars started making jokes about the fact that Clapton got up on stage with the house band, like, "There goes old Beardy." like to them, he was the comic that won't stop doing jokes.
Right. He's the douche that has to constantly be playing.
Yeah, and he's awesome. So to me, I'm like, this is the best thing ever. To them, like, I've seen Eric Clapton do this 2,000 times.
Right.
There he goes again.
And then Mick Jagger has a daughter there, and it's so loud. And he's like, "This is my daughter." And I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" And she's like, "I
what?"
And I can't understand a word she's saying.
And you only want to be able to savor the moment and hear what everyone's saying. Yeah.
And so I'm like, what? She's like, "You don't start the thing, mother." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't understand you. It's really loud." She's like, "They're going to start. And I kept asking her what she was saying 7 times till finally I just said, I'm sorry.
I give up."
And that's like...
Eric Clapton's interfering with our conversation.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller went over with you to this party and everything?
Yeah. And so that goes okay. And so then we went to... now we have to pitch the whole band the movie. So it's Ben and I have to go and pitch the entire Rolling Stones. Now, all the jokes are about... like Keith Richards having his blood replaced. It's all like addiction jokes and the mythology of the band jokes. And so Ben says, "Okay, I'm going to pitch." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to chime in."
You're the chiming in guy. Ben's the pitch guy.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in some jokes. And so Ben starts pitching it, and I totally lock up. I'm terrified. Keith Richards is looking right at us, and I'm just
white. And he's intimidating, right? He's too cool for the room.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And Ben starts pitching. And Ben's like, "Hey, so let's we're going to do it. Let's do it like kind of Gimme Shelter style, that kind of cinematography." And Keith Richards goes, yes, but this time let's do it without the murder.
They're funnier than you guys.
Yeah, like that murder's become a cocktail party joke.
Right.
And then Ron Wood kept like raising his hand going, I say we do it. I say we do it. And then Keith...
you can tell he only gets a partial vote. Yeah, he came in late to the Stones.
And Keith is going, okay, why didn't you direct it too, Alfred Hitchcock?
This is the movie, if you ask me.
And Keith, and it was really funny because Ron Wood was so enthusiastic, and he kept annoying Keith Richards. So he's like, well, I think we should do it. And he's like, okay, Brian Jones. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
You're making fun of Brian Jones, poor bastard.
So, we finished the pitch, and then we walk out of the room, and now we're like at the door right next to where they're debating it.
Right.
And Ben wants to listen to them debate it. Like they were like, go downstairs, but Ben's at the door, and I'm like, Ben, Keith Richards will stab us.
Right.
We can't do this. So we go downstairs. It's like a gym in Toronto. They're like practicing for the tour at a high school. We go downstairs, and then Ron Wood just gives us a thumbs up. Like, you're in.
Wow.
Like, we're going to do it.
That shitty pitch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we sit down, and they're like, hey, you can watch us rehearse. So in this little room, we watched the Stones perform just for Ben and me.
Oh, my God.
For like 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
And it was unbelievable. And in the middle of it, every once in a while, Mick Jagger would walk over and go, you guys okay? You need some water?
Oh, my
Are you all
God.
right? It was, and I kept saying to Ben, this is the best moment of our lives. Don't ever forget this moment. This won't happen again. And then ultimately, it fell apart because Brad Pitt got this other movie, Seven.
Right. You know, though, but what's so amazing, like, I've interviewed Ben a bunch of times, and I've interviewed you, and, like, that to you guys, like, that would be the major story of my life. I could stop living after that. You know what I mean? And you guys have so many experiences that you probably have even sort of filed that away somewhere and never even told that anywhere.
That's not true. That's the best story I have.
Oh, is it? You tell it a lot.
Well, I did know at the time, like, oh, this is crazy.
But meanwhile, if you had made that movie, it still would have been a great movie because you would have had a concert from the Stones on film, and then God knows what you would have put in between it, but who cares?
Well, Ben is so funny. It would have been fantastic. It really would have been something interesting.
The Howard Stern Show.